This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mintz.
I was facing life without the possibility of parole. They had me on racketeering and robbery. They knew I was a maniac. They knew I was a killer. They just didn't have the evidence. Nicky Campilano was my buddy on the strip. That's who the mob sent down to assist with the skimming of the casinos. It was a simple enough job: make sure the money kept flowing in and stop anyone who got in the way. The bosses back home made sure to fill our coffers up with go away money, as we like to call it. Cops, judges, parking inspectors, anyone who would fuck with the operation of the casinos. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. The bosses back home bankrolled the casinos. By this I mean they put up the money for them to be built. Then when they were built, the bosses were the silent partners, so to speak. I mean, there is no way in the world they were going to let the tax man know that 5 fruit grocers from upstate New York just happened to have the hundreds of thousands of dollars needed to build a casino on the Las Vegas Strip in 1976. A shell company was built with a respectable middle-aged stiff at the helm. There was a board of directors who each got a kickback for putting their names down on the meetings and the minutes. Then the bosses took home the cake of what was left over. Let me tell you, the amount of money people shuffled into the slot machines, there was a lot of money left over. So the operation was simple: let the casinos do what a casino does. Ace Bernstein was the boss in charge, and Nicky Campilano was the muscle, and I backed in Nicky. Then Nicky went off the rails. Not right away. For a few years, things worked out the way the bosses wanted. We muscled in on people who got in our way. I remember there was a group of union workers who decided to get out of line. They worked in the kitchen of the Queen of Africa restaurant. These sons of bitches organized a stop-work meeting right when Mr. Bernstein was entertaining senators from D.C. All of a sudden, when he was about to clinch some major deal which would have meant a big payday for everyone, and by everyone I mean the bosses, the kitchen closes. At 8 o'clock, and without notice, there ain't no food. I mean, it was insane. Bernstein loses it. He calls Nicky. Nicky calls me, and the next thing I know, we're putting 3 barrels into the head of their lead delegate out in the car park with all of his colleagues watching. They were screaming and crying, and everyone was promising never to get out of line again, and yada, yada, yada. I mean, what the hell did we care? It was all part of the business of keeping the casino running. So what if we scarred these assholes for life? They shouldn't be working here if they can't take the heat. That sort of action we could handle. It wasn't until Nicky was caught on a wire talking about a side score he was working on to rip off jewelry stores up and down the strip. Where he fucked up was because he didn't have permission from the bosses back home. He gets caught on a wire. The feds ran an indictment on him, me and everyone back home. That's when I knew I was a dead man. I mean, why would the bosses keep me alive if it was easier to clean house? That's when Vegas was truly over for guys like us. So the feds presented me with a deal. Like a schmuck, I took it. Yeah, I turned evidence on Nicky, Bernstein, the bosses. In exchange, they changed my name to Michael Smart. Some name, huh? Michael Smart from Arizona. I worked out of a bus shelter, selling tickets to old ladies who were traveling down south to Mexico for the weekend to pick up their prescription drug medicines at a discount. I lasted 2 years. I came out of hiding. I mean, fuck them. I wasn't going to live my life under some rock. I spoke to journalists who were interested in my story, and I made some money. Some good money. Who would have thought that when I was going around taking people out 20 years ago, I'd be able to make a living off of it? The feds threatened me with a life sentence, but in the end, I couldn't handle the worst punishment of being a nobody. When the call came to be a technical advisor, I jumped at the chance. I mean, who wouldn't? It was Martin Condolisci. The Martin Condolisci, the guy who made the Mob Wars movie, The Taxi Driver, and Good Guys. He was a living, breathing legend. We all loved his movies growing up. Although, he did embellish some elements around the Long Island shenanigans that some of the bosses would get up to. I didn't mind letting him know this when he hired me. So here I am standing in the same parking lot out on the strip as the one 20 years earlier, back when it was the car park to the Queen of Africa. It's hotter than it was back then, even at 2 in the morning. There is an actor pretending to be a busboy from a pretend kitchen, wearing a white shirt and apron. He is getting sprayed around the eyes with a saline mixture to assist him in bringing out the tears. Joey Petruto, some actor kid, is playing me, and they've brought me on, as I said, to advise. I'm watching this Hollywood kid reenact the murder I committed in front of a cast of thousands. Camera operators, lighting technicians, extras. Hell, there's a police escort blocking the traffic from interrupting. The cops are actually blocking anyone from interrupting the recreation of this murder I committed, and here I am getting to watch it and get paid for watching it. I mean, what a life. You know what I mean? You're holding the pistol all wrong, I tell this Petruto kid. How you mean? I take the prop gun off him and I walked over to the busboy and I held the gun the way I held it that night and fired off the blank the way I fired off the real deal that night. Side on, make it an angle, I said. That way you don't get no residue on your thumb. The smell don't come out for weeks, I tell him. He smirks at the director, the schmuck. All right, I'll try it that way, he says to me. Yeah, I mean, you want to do it right, don't ya? What do I care? It's their movie. But if they want to do it right, they gotta do it right. Otherwise, there will be wise guys like me watching and pulling apart all the bullshit. Martin Kondalishi calls for a take, and I watched him kill this kid in make-believe land. And I look up at the clear night sky and wonder how the hell this world lets me get away with such a life. It would be another 40 years until I'm taken up to judgment for my sins. Can you believe that? An old gangster like me gets to see his 90s? Only in America.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.